Last year, a Pentagon report determined that nearly 80% of Americans aged 17 to 24 are too fat, mentally ill, or addicted to drugs to serve in the U.S. Army.
Don't want to sound like a dick or nothing, but it says on your chart that you're f***ed up. You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded.
Well, they didn't exactly say that, but it's the essence of the report. But lucky for us little peon civilians, our lords in the Navy have decided to do something about that stupid part. Isn't it funny how they lower standards instead of focusing on getting college students or college graduates to enlist? They don't want us. They're afraid we'd be too difficult to brainwash in boot camp. Besides, war is for the poor, and the spoils are for the rich, you dumb. That's a whole other issue for a whole other podcast. But anywho, they are now dropping enlistment requirements. You no longer have to have a high school diploma or GED to sign up for service in the Navy. This new plan will allow recruits to bypass the education credential if they can score a 50 on their qualification test. Just FYI, that's out of a 99. In school, a 50 out of 99 would be a failing grade. But welcome to America, where when you're failing, you're actually succeeding. How desperate are they? Well, it's been more than 20 years since the Navy last relaxed educational requirements. Overall, the military has struggled for several years to meet recruitment goals. In fact, the Army missed its goal by 15,000 recruits just last year. Even worse, only 9% of Americans who are eligible to serve are even inclined to enlist. But can you blame them? War has become nothing but a mechanism for people like Nikki Haley and her neocon colleagues to get rich off of. Youth today can't afford a home, can't find a job, or one that pays a living wage. Many are working side gigs just to make ends meet. A majority of Americans couldn't afford a $500 emergency expense. College loans are accruing interest as career prospects dwindle. We had society ripped away from us in 2020 via the pandemic. We survived the race war that happened that same summer. And every time you turn on the news, we're just seconds away from World War III, either from Russia or what's happening in the Middle East right now. There is nothing American youth get out of living in America. The American dream has now turned into an American nightmare. Politicians are raping the federal purse of your tax dollars for goofy programs or bombs abroad. The glorified boomer days where you had a thriving economic engine no longer exists. I mean, just think about it. Millennials, Gen Z, we've lived through $5 a gallon gas, 40-year high inflation, insane interest rates, supply chain shortages, and labor shortages. We are tired, broke, and too depressed to do anything, especially fight the senseless wars that Genocide Joe is dredging up. Fun fact here, school children and college students during the 80s reported more anxiety than child psychiatric patients did during the 50s. That study came out in the year 2000 by the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say nothing's changed. It's probably actually gotten quite a bit worse. If you're young and you've had a moment or two where you weren't utterly depressed about society, are you really going to walk your into a recruitment office so they can blow you up in a war for American imperialism? Not me. And when some conservative commentator labors on and on and on about how much they love the military and love veterans, look them up. Did they serve in the military? Did their kids? Most of the time, the answer to those questions are a resounding no. Well, because they're too good for it, I'm sure. And yeah, you can't make your 18-year-old child enlist, but if military service is such an important value in your family, you'd think at least one of your offsprings would sign up for it. When is Sean Hannity or Jesse Waters or any Fox News host going to go sign up for service? We're hard up for people. They'll take the old farts. What about all the politicians who you elect that never serve, nor their kids, but are always eager to put your son or daughter in this Middle Eastern shit show? Just think about old Joe and how he pulled out of Afghanistan. 13 soldiers died. And now in Jordan, we have another 3 dead soldiers. Look, the government got us out of one war and into 2 more with Russia and the Middle East. I'm sure a politician just justifies this in their mind that they're looking out for the poor people, the suckers that sign up for the military, giving them some job security. America has been a wild ride in just my lifetime. But if a draft comes back, I'll be in Canada, and that's all I have to say about that. Thanks for listening to Broad Thinking. Be sure to tune in to an all-new episode next Monday night. In the meantime, be sure to follow the Ladies Love Politics channel on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, True Social, Brighteon Social, BitChute, and Rumble.